Welcome to the Tuesday evening, January 4th, 2022 meeting of Golden Speakers, Toastmasters of Fairfield, Iowa, and parts all over North America. The mission of our club is, as is the mission of every Toastmasters club, is to create a supportive and positive learning environment in which every member develops the opportunity to perfect verbal communication and leadership skills, which in turn foster self-confidence and personal growth. Tonight, we are privileged to have Nick Campney giving a Icebreaker speech, and tonight's agenda will be spearheaded by the Toastmaster, Jean Symington Craig. Jean, take it away.
Thank you, Mr. President and fellow Toastmasters. As Toastmaster, I'm going to start right in. First of all, just welcoming everyone back for a new year, and Happy New Year to everyone, and hope everyone had good holidays and are staying warm at this time of year. If you happen to be in Iowa, of course, you may not be. So in any case, let's go ahead and introduce the role players for this evening. First off, we'll start with, actually, we could start with me. I'm the timer. As timer, my job is to time certain sections of the meeting, make sure that we're staying on time. Tonight, we do have Nick giving his icebreaker, which is a 4 to 6 minute speech. And at 4 minutes, I will show the green card. And so Nick will want to kind of keep an eye in the gallery view for when you see that. At 5 minutes, I'll give the yellow card. And at 6 minutes, I'll give the red card. And then there are 30 seconds to really wrap it up to stay in qualification. For table topics, these are impromptu 1 to 2 minute speeches. The green light, the green card, I will flash at 1 minute. The yellow card, I will flash at 1 minute, 30 seconds. And the red card, I will flash at 2 minutes. And again, you have 30 seconds to finish. Evaluations. These are 2 to 3 minute speeches. At 2 minutes, I will show the green card. At 2.5, I'll show the yellow card. And at 3 minutes, I will show the red card. And you will again have 30 seconds to finish up with that. And I'll give a report at the end of the meeting. Nick, I'm going to ask you also, I know you're busy thinking about your speech, but you're now eligible for roles. So kind of keep an eye on how roles are being done and look at the agenda that you got and just start to assimilate, how we do it.
Okay, I've been watching. And yeah. Just so you know, Diana is my sweetie pie and wife, and she's down in Columbia, so she's just joined us. That's okay. The new member there.
That's the Diana.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I was just going to acknowledge that we have a Diana on the line. Diana, can you hear us? Oh, she's muted and silent and. Okay, well, and oh, there she is.
Yes, I can hear you. Thank you for the invitation.
Okay, well, great. I'm glad you're here to see Nick do his icebreaker, and I hope you're doing well there in in Columbia. And I hope you enjoy our meeting tonight. All right, with that, we'll go ahead to our next role player, and that would be our grammarian, Donna.
Hello, fellow Toastmasters. So the word of the day is stifle, and that means there's two definitions that I'd like to bring up. The first being to make someone unable to breathe properly or suffocate. For instance, the smoke from the house fire stifled the girl's breathing. Second definition, restrain a reaction or stop oneself acting on an emotion. She stifled her anger. I'll be looking for uses of that word and making note of any interesting turns of phrase or perhaps not right use of grammar.
Okay. I was needing to stifle a puppy over here on this end. Not literally, but definitely try to calm him down. So thank you, Donna, for being our grammarian. Next, we have our AW counter. Yay, our professional AW counter is Bob Fogel. Bob, will you tell us what you'll be doing tonight?
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. Good evening, my fellow Toastmasters and our viewers at home. My role as AW counter tonight is what we look for as filler words instead of pauses. Pauses are good. Filler words we don't like to listen to. And they would be like ahs, ums, ers, well, so's, likes, but, repeats, double taps, like, you know. And as your AW counter this evening, I also like to throw in a little twist. And our twist this evening, as I've been voted to, is when I hear something that does not fit into a sentence, I'm going to throw it out, oi. And when you hear an oi, that means you had a filler word inside your speech this evening. And that will alert your senses to say, cut them filler words out. Back to you, Tabletop Master, or Madam Toastmaster.
Toastmaster, yes, thank you. Thank you, Bob. We also have our general evaluator, Art Atkinson, whom we will hear from later in the meeting, and also our joke master for the evening, which is Bob Fogel again. So with that, we're ready to listen and have our icebreaker presented to us by Nick Campney. But first, I want to introduce his evaluator, Donna, who will give the objectives for the speech.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. From what I understand, the objectives, is that written in the purpose statement?
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah.
Okay. The purpose of this project is for the member to introduce themselves to the club and to learn the basic structure of a public speech. I will be looking at how the speech was delivered and rating the effectiveness of the speech and returning the form to Nick after the meeting and giving my evaluation during the meeting. Back to you.
Okay, very good. And we remind everyone that evaluations are subjective. It's just whoever is the evaluator is giving their best effort to be helpful to the speaker and from their own perspective, giving suggestions and commenting like that. So not something written in stone, but it's just we're all helping each other in that way. Nick Campney has traveled far and wide and comes back to Fairfield just 60 miles from his birth town to share with us his speech entitled Paths of Dreams. Paths of Dreams. Let's welcome Nick.
Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, special international guests and viewers at my side. It is an honor to be here with you tonight, for we do not just come to a virtual room to speak and listen. Tonight we come together to dream. And as we do so, I will remind you of the words of James Allen. Dream loftily dreams, and as you dream, so you shall become. Your vision is the promise of what you shall one day be. I've been invited here to introduce myself and to share with you a little about me. I believe in a beautiful world and that dreams come true. And I seek to use this speech as a way to find my vibration, my connection, and my voice to share with the world all that I see in it. Now, since the principle of what I believe in is that dreams come true, I should start by getting everyone on the right track, the same page. And first of all, does anybody out there believe that dreams come true? Raise your hands. Some people, some, it's okay. I'll give you a story here about how dreams come true and how they take unusual paths, how you don't always know that the dream is coming true. One day, I had been dreaming of an electric truck. Now, I was driving my standard, run-of-the-mill minivan that nobody could care about with a little rust under it. But I was off dreaming that day, and I dreamed as I went to work, and I dreamed as I drove down to the plant, checked on the production crew, and headed back up to the office when all of a sudden this lovely van stopped. It lurched. Some could even say that it stifled. So I parked it, put it back in gear, and tried to start it again. No luck. Well, as I like to do, I like to get to work, so park the car there and walk back. Finish my day and come back to the van. Knock on wood. It's gonna start because tonight I already have a commitment. In about half an hour, I have to be downtown, having already picked up my sweetie pie and made it to a wonderful speech we were looking to go to that night. Put it into reverse. About 3 feet later, stops again. Why, just when I'm trying to go someplace, is it doing this? Park. Deep breath. Start it again. Starts up. Okay, I know this is a little sketchy, but I'm gonna go for it. Back out we go. And on. I only live about 2 miles from work. So all we need is to make it over the first hill, down the second hill, stop. Oh boy, it's not gonna work. It's just not gonna work. So I better get moving. Time to act fast. Call me a Morlinda. Please come pick me up. We got a lecture to go to. Drive into the lecture. Park. Get there just in time in order to sit down in the second row, leaving the front row, open for whoever might be a front row sort of person. And it just so happened that the front row sort of people sat down, and I knew them, and said hello. And they said, "Did you know that it is Joel's birthday?" No, well, happy birthday. And today we went out and we bought him a new truck. Wow, congratulations. And I've been thinking about you all day because we have our old truck and we don't know what to do with it. And so they gave us, we'll have to condense this a little bit. They gave us their old truck. Nutshell, beautiful old truck, red and little so that you can reach over the tailgate and use it like you should, just like the way trucks used to be before they got so big that you couldn't even hop into them. Oh, I love that truck. And I love dreaming about how I was going to make it mesh with our solar-powered off-grid homestead and the solar array I was going to add and the battery bank and how I could change it and make it hook into the gear shift and have an electric motor and everything would be wonderful. And I would put a slant on the back with solar panels on it so it would charge during the day when I was parked. And the only thing that stopped that was it was kind of a pile of rust. And how could I possibly put in so much money into this thing that I don't even know if it's going to work? But a couple of years later, I saw the Tesla presentation of their car, the stainless steel truck with the solar panels and the battery rack, and everything seemed like it was just as I had imagined. And while it hasn't come to fruition yet, I think it might. And these paths that wind from breakdown to upgrade to maybe breakdown again are all trying to take us someplace. And hopefully they take me just in time to the end of this speech. Thank you.
Thank you, Nick. Really nice. All right. So, Mr. Timer, oh, that's me, Ms. Timer. I will now give you, as the timer, I'll give you 2 minutes. So let's everyone take 2 minutes and put your evaluation comments into the chat privately to Nick. Okay, whoops, that's 2 minutes and plus. We'll continue on. Donna, would you like a little more time to do your work on your evaluation, or are you ready to go?
I do it after what?
After we do table topics. Okay. Yeah. Okay, good. Very good. Moving right along. We will check the speaker. We do not have a qualifying speaker tonight, but that's fine. So that's that. Let's go ahead to our table topics, and our table topics master tonight is Rahul Bhatz, and the evaluator is Dan Craig. Let's welcome Rahul.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster Jean. Good evening, friends, fellow Toastmasters, and viewers at home. I have a few questions that I would like to ask on the theme of habits. May I have my first volunteer, please?
I can go.
All right, Dana. Dana, you have your choice of picking up a number between 1 and 10.
1.
All right. What is an habit that you have had that has helped you a lot in your life? What is one habit that you have had that has helped you a lot in your life? Dana Sasa.
Excuse me, let me get a little water.
while Donna is getting the water, I'd like to inform our guests that you are more than welcome to participate in table topics. It's just some simple question. It gives you a chance to speak and for us to get to know you. And we are very, very supportive of any new person coming in and wanting to give a speech. So Diana, if you feel that you want to speak, participate, do not hesitate. Do not feel stifled.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Table Topics Master, fellow Toastmasters. This is a tricky question because it's difficult to think back over your whole life in 30 seconds and evaluate what are your best habits. I haven't given it much thought before, although what comes to mind is an ability more than a habit. I've always harbored this thought that I was meant for something better. I was meant for something good, something that the world needed. I always felt like I had a higher calling. All the misery that I suffered wasn't for no good reason. I guess my habit was to see the higher meaning of life, always looking to make sense. Sometimes nothing makes sense. And when you're a child, you have to come up with some reason why you're here. So it's like a defense mechanism, but they don't have to all be bad defense mechanisms. To sum up, the habit of believing in yourself and a higher power can set you free.
That was very inspiring and powerful.
Mhm.
I felt that you initially were a bit stifled, but then you took the question head on and did a very fantabulous job at it. May I have my next victim?
Not volunteering to be a victim. I'll be looking forward to be inspired.
I was joking, Art.
Take number
So
two.
sorry for using the wrong term. May I have my next volunteer?
I'll take number two.
All right. Art, are you familiar with the book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People? The question, once again, is, are you familiar with the book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen R. Covey? If you have read it, what did you like the best about it? If you have not read it, would you be considering reading it? Do you want me to reiterate my question? Sorry, it's a
No,
bit
I
lengthy.
got the question. Thank you, Mr. Topics Master. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters, guests, Diana, and viewers at home. I have read the Seven Habits book probably more than 5 years ago. I do not consider myself familiar with it. I couldn't tell you whether I have implemented any of the habits that Stephen Covey talked about and outlined in that book. I know that many people speak of it, and I had a mentor at one point who would do an annual process with us on a teleconference call designed around the principles outlined in that book to help us plan our goals and activities for the coming year. He would do it at about this time of the year. I have no doubt that the principles in Stephen Covey's Seven Habits of Highly Effective People are useful and important, and they're ones that I will eventually succumb to, and I will stifle my resistance and take up acting on the principles of those habits. Thank you for this reminder. I should get the book out and review it. It's on our bookshelf at home. Rahul, you're mute.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Thank you, Art, for that wonderful topic. Thank you for answering the question quite nicely. May I have my next volunteer?
I will, Rahul.
All right. Thank you, Bob.
Mhm. We're going to go with number 10.
Number 10. All right. What is the one habit that you would like to change this year in order for you to grow and become more successful? What is the one habit that you have that you would like to change this year in order to grow and become more successful this year?
Thank you for the question, Mr. Table Topics Master. To choose just one habit to change might stifle my thinking. I would say there's more habits that need to change than just one. But if I have to start at the yellow brick road to go around and around, I'll start at procrastination. Although I'm successful in what I do, as well as anyone, I still struggle with procrastination. I know what to do in my head, but sometimes it doesn't get to my heart. When I connect my head and my heart, then I move forward. I'm not sure what procrastination is, except for the fact that I think it's just another word for just being lazy, for lack of better thoughts or words, what it does. Often, when you find yourself comfortable, what I mean comfortable, your bills are paid, your belly's full, you're nice and warm, you basically do whatever you want to do, procrastination can slip in. That is an enemy sometimes in my life. It's when I have needs that overtakes that procrastination. I realize it's a daily fight every day. We all have to fight it. And I have to think ahead. What do I want this year? Where am I going this year? When is it enough, though? can I just be satisfied where I'm at? Is that okay? Back to you.
Thank you, Bob. Procrastination is one habit that is in my list of habits to change as well in myself. So thank you for reiterating and helping me remember what I need to work on this year. May I have the next volunteer? I'd like to. Did I hear somebody? I don't see any hand raise. Oh, I do see a hand raise in Jean Symington Craig now. Jean, 1, 2, and 10 are gone. Which question would you like to choose between 3 and 9?
All right, let me just ask, can someone time me?
Can someone please
timing.
time Jean?
I can.
Thank you, Bob.
Bob's all ready to go. Okay, let's see. How about number 9? Number
9. Okay.
Number 9.
Okay.
I got a problem.
What?
Phone a minute. I left my phone in the other room.
Well, just go 1001, 1002.
About that. Yeah. I can do that. I'll just watch the timer on my thing. Okay. Oh, wait a minute.
You can actually use the timer on Google, so you can like pull up a browser window in a minimized form or something and search
Okay.
for. Okay. That works.
Whatever works.
Whatever works.
Okay.
Okay. So.
Gotcha.
All right. So, in the 7 habits, from the 7 habits of highly successful people, habit number 7 is sharpen the saw. Covey says that one should balance and renew one's resources, energy, and health to create a sustainable, long-term, effective lifestyle. Once again, Covey says that one should balance and renew one's resources, energy, and health to create a sustainable, long-term, effective lifestyle. What is your take on the quote? Do you want me to repeat the quote?
No, that's fine. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Table Topics Master, fellow Toastmasters, honored guests, and viewers at home. While I have given the Stephen Covey book away as a gift, I must say I have never read it. I'm sure it is a very successful book, highly successful. I'm not familiar with the principles there. So I think what I'm going to do is acknowledge his mastery of the topic, but shift over to just describing something about me that has been a habit that I have found helpful for my own long-term health and success. And that is when I recognize that I'm going to have to do something one way or the other, rather than wait until the last minute to do it, when I'm in a rush and I can't really learn anything about it, I just decide I'm just going to do it ahead of time because I have to do it anyway. So I might as well just do it. This really came up when I went to school in college. There were assignments and I just always said, I'm going to just do the assignment ahead of time. I'm going to read the homework before the class, not after the class, because then when I go to class, I can really delve in with questions because I already have the content in my head from the reading. It just was something that was a success principle for me that I found useful. I also used to enjoy studying for final exams because at that point, you've had the entire course. And it's a great opportunity to learn everything that was at the beginning when you didn't know anything in the context of the total course. I love studying for exams. I would spend a lot of time because to me, it was integrating all the course material. And I think that's, from what I've seen, is probably, I'm in the minority on doing that.
Thank you, Jean. At this time, before extending the opportunity to Dan, I would like to re-ask Nick or Diana if they would like to speak on participate in the table topics.
I'd be happy to if Dan doesn't want to. Linda, do you want to?
So it's Dan, up to you. Do you want to go or do you want to let Nick go?
I'll be glad to go. What have you
I'm
got?
sorry?
What questions do you have?
I have many questions, but I'm looking at the time, and since we have to wrap up by 8:30, that's why.
Okay. What numbers do you have?
I have number 3 to 8.
How about 3?
All right. Again, from Stephen R. Covey's The 7 Habits of Highly Successful People. The first habit that Stephen Covey talks about is being proactive. Proactivity is about taking responsibility for one's reaction to one's own experiences, taking the initiative to respond positively and improve the situation. In general, do you consider yourself to be a proactive versus a reactive person? Once again, in general, do you consider yourself to be a proactive versus a reactive person? And would you like me to repeat the code?
No, I don't think you need to repeat it. Could somebody evaluate me? I'm the topics evaluator.
I could do it.
Nick, is it okay if Nick can evaluate Dan?
He hasn't reached evaluator status yet.
Okay.
Yeah,
Art?
he will.
I'll do it.
Thank you. Mr. Topics Master, fellow Toastmasters, honored guest. It's interesting to have questions based on Stephen Covey's book because, of course, I've heard of it. It is quite famous in the personal development world, but I haven't read it. I have been one of those people that has been not much interested in delving into that side of things. It's obvious to anybody that knows me that I could use a lot of personal development, but somehow I just didn't go that direction. In terms of the actual question, I would have to say that unfortunately, I'm really a reactive person. Typically, I do not lead the way. I don't jump out in front of the crowd and say, "Follow me, everyone. I see the light. We're going to accomplish this goal. Let's go do it." I'm more the person that lets circumstances run over me a little bit and then responds. I realized that Stephen Covey would never write that as one of the 7 habits of highly effective people, because obviously it is not the best strategy for accomplishing everything you want. But in general, I'm just trying to be honest that it is the way that I have operated most of my life, and I would say that I tend to operate that way still. If I ever do have a lot of spare time and I'm feeling in a personal development mode, then I'll certainly check in with the Stephen Covey book and read why it is that so many people have sworn by his methods. but unfortunately, I haven't learned his wisdom, and I haven't been a natural follower of what he suggests. Thanks.
Thank you, Dan. I hope my questions were not stifling for the participants. I apologize for any inappropriate behavior on my part by calling the table topics participants a victim. It was just in good humor, but I do think that table topics are a great way to engage yourself in Toastmaster meetings, and they make you think a lot and make you an effective speaker. So I would encourage everybody to participate in table topics questions, irrespective of whether the table topics master call you to be a victim or a volunteer. And with that, I would like to hand over the meeting back. No, wait, I have more things to do. Madam Timer, what table topic speakers qualified?
Donna, Art, Bob, Dan, and I don't know about myself.
I sent it to you, Jean. You qualified.
Okay.
So we have 5 people who qualified. So all the participants actually qualified. I would like to repeat their name in the order that they went. Our first speaker was Donna, second was Art, third was Bob, fourth was Jean, and fifth was Dan. I'm sorry if I missed the order, but those are your participants. Please feel free to send in a vote to Jean Symington Craig. I trust her integrity, that she will not use her position of authority to skew the votes in her favor. Once again, please send in the vote for best table topic speaker with the word TTS, the name of the best table topic speaker that you think did a good job in the table topics question. With that, I would like to hand over the meeting to Jean Symington Craig as the Toastmaster.
Okay. I think what I'm also going to do, thank you, Rahul. I think what I'm also going to do is, because we're at the point where we can have our evaluators give their evaluation, both speech and table topics, is to hand it off to our general evaluator, Art. Art, would you like to take over?
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster.
Mhm.
I think first, what I'd like to do is ask Donna to give us her evaluation of Nick's Icebreaker.
Thank you, Art. With pleasure. Nick, you did a great job at engaging with the audience. I could feel a sense of sincerity and awareness and a desire to make your speech interesting. The structure was good. You had a nice real life scenario to engage us with. You had great gestures. You did really well with stressing and unstressing certain parts. I have to wonder if you've had any professional poetic training, because the kind of details that you had were really sensual.
What?
One thing I would recommend would be to make eye contact in a way that doesn't suggest that you're reading from a screen. And also perhaps angling the camera, the webcam down a little bit so you can better see the gestures that you're making with your hands. And I think you did a good job once you realized that your time was running short of leaving out some of the details you had in the original speech, maintaining its integrity, but getting to a conclusion. I think with anyone, it can be difficult to express everything you want to say in such a short amount of time. And I think we all struggle with that. And that's the evaluation, and I'll send you the form completed after the meeting.
Thank you, Donna.
Excuse me, we had timer error here. I got caught up in listening and I forgot to time. So Donna gets a free pass on however long that was. It felt about right. But this, I need to confess.
Jean.
I was trying to stifle myself and not confess, but I do need to confess. So there we are.
She was under the time limit. I was monitoring it as well.
Oh, good. Okay, very good. I need a monitor, backup monitor.
With a time of 3 to 5 minutes, we have Dan Craig to evaluate table topics. Dan, do you really need 5 minutes?
No.
I don't. I think I should be able to do it in 2 to 3.
Yeah.
Oh, famous last words.
Okay.
That has bitten me many times before, but here goes. Thank you, Mr. General Evaluator, fellow Toastmasters, honored guests. I've got 4 people to evaluate. The first table topic speaker tonight was Donna. The question she was asked was something along the lines of, what habit have you had that has served you during your life? She was a bit slow to answer, but it was obvious that she was kind of grasping for what angle to take on it. Once Donna saw which way she wanted to go, then she decided to talk not exactly about a habit, but more about a quality, a belief system, and a higher power. I thought that was a good way to bend things, to get into a talk that she wanted to do. So I thought that was very good. She came up with really quite a deep answer to the question. And the other very good thing that she did was that she finished with, to sum up, and gave us those thoughts at the end. I don't really have a suggestion other than take a little more time before beginning to speak so that perhaps you can get into the talk more easily. The second speaker was Art, who was asked about his knowledge of 7 habits of successful people. Art admitted to us that he had read it before. He wasn't quite remembering the details, but he told us that he'd had a mentor who used to organize annual meetings built around those principles. So obviously he had used it quite a bit, and he thanked Rahul for reminding him that the book existed, and he'd go look at it on his bookshelf. So I think my only suggestion for Art would be to maybe, as you give us that conclusion at the end, give us a little enthusiasm for Stephen Covey and how great his thoughts are. Bob was the third speaker. He was asked, what habit would you want to change? He decided that he wanted to talk about changing the habit of procrastination, and he developed it in an interesting way. He finally decided that in one way it's just being lazy, and that it happens to him when he's too comfortable. But when he needs to accomplish something, then the energy comes along and he's willing to overcome the procrastination. I felt the only thing I would change about your talk, Bob, was at the end, you finished with, the question is, am I satisfied with where I'm at? So I felt like your conclusion at the end was a good point, but didn't quite reflect what you had said during your talk. And finally, Jean was asked to talk about one of the habits, sharpen the saw, which I thought was very colorful. She didn't take much time to talk, but she decided right away that she wanted to segue into talking about being able to look at study materials so on ahead of time. And she had that good habit. I thought she finished with the point about final exams, and that wasn't quite what her talk had been.
Next, I think we will get a timer's report on the evaluators. Did we have qualifying evaluators?
We did have a qualifier, that would be Donna.
Okay. Very good. I now call for the reports. Jean, why don't you continue and give us the full timers report?
Okay, yes, thank you, Mr. General Evaluator. Our speaker for the evening, Nick, his talk was 6 minutes and 46 seconds. So the goal would have been 6 minutes and 30 seconds, 4 to 6 plus 30, just a tad over. Donna, 2 minutes and 2 minutes for table topics, 2 minutes and 30 seconds. I was like, do not say anything else. And she was, Art was 1 minute, 37 seconds. Bob was 1 minute, 53 seconds. Dan was 2 minutes, 18 seconds. I was 2 minutes and 23 seconds. I've already confessed that I do not have a time for Donna, but she qualified, according to Rahul. And Dan did not qualify, sorry, Dan's time was 3 minutes and 41 seconds. We don't rub it in if someone doesn't qualify. We just state their time and let everyone feel the downer of it all. So. So that's my report.
Thank you. If we could hear the grammarian's report from Donna. You're mute, Donna.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President, or Jean's the
General value. General
General Evaluator. Great. I need a badge or something sometimes. Thank you, Mr. General Evaluator. For the grammarian role tonight, I missed your speech, Art, and I didn't get anything for you. I was engrossed in what you were saying. It completely captivated me. Although you did say stifle once, Nick said stifle at least once, masterfully weaving it into his speech. Jean said it at least once, maybe more. Also, Jean had a few interesting phrases, good ways of saying things. She said long-term health and success. You have to do it anyway, which is more of a concept than an interesting way of saying something, but I made note of it because it's kind of funny, you had to do it anyway. And she said integrating course material, well put. Bob, he said the word of the day at least once. He had the yellow brick road imagery. He used the word procrastination, and he had the phrase connect head and heart. And I made note when he said, when is it enough? Because it was a very haunting way of leaving things. Rahul used the word at least twice. Dan, I caught a phrase, circumstances run over me. That was interesting. I didn't catch any word of the day usage. And that's my report.
Thank you. Now, if Bob would give us his counter's report, please.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. This evening, Nick is our speaker. Great job, Nick. Pulled off a wonderful speech this evening. I counted 3 so's, 1 ah, and I call them clicks. I don't know what else to call it, but I hear a click, and you had 6 clicks. You'd have to go back and review the tape to understand what I'm saying, but it sounds like a tongue click. That's the best way I can put it. Rahul, on his table topics, so he didn't have table topics, but when he was giving his questions for the table topics, I counted 1 so. Donna, she had 1 so and 1 but. Art, he was clean. Jean, she had 2 so's. And, and then Dan, he was clean on the table topics. Then we come to the evaluation. Donna, she had 1 ah, 1 so, and 1 but. And then Dan, he made up for the clean on the thing when he gave the evaluation. He had 4 so's, 1 but, and 1 repeat. And I had a question. When Dan was speaking, and he went from 1 sentence, he goes, so I thought, and he says, but she decided, is that we had this discussion before for our counters. Are those legal so's and legal buts, or is there another way to get around to say that? Food for thought.
Yeah.
Thank you. Now you're also our joke master. And
Oh, yes.
you're prepared for that.
Are you ready for these jokes this evening? So if we all had you laughing. Okay. I tell you, my dad he's taken up to work in the streets as a nun. We're trying hard to get him out of that habit. In a dangerous situation, I put my employees first.
They always do.
I always do. I do this because I have a habit of doing hiding behind my mistakes. Okay, that's why. That's what my habit is. They get better. All right. Do you want a surefire way to stop or try to break the habit of chewing your fingernails? Take up plumbing.
Take up plumbing.
Take up plumbing.
Ugh.
A nun tried to kiss me, believe it? And I said, whoa, 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 sister. I don't want any of that kind of habit.
I didn't get that. I didn't.
Okay. A nun tried to kiss me. And I said, whoa, 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 sister, I don't want to get into that habit.
Into that habit. Yeah. Okay. Got it.
Yes, I don't want to get into that habit. Yes, a habit.
The whole outfit.
The thing was where habits we're talking about, but I went the other way. I just kind of
No, it's
word in a different way.
yeah. Into is a critical word in that punchline.
Yes.
Yeah.
Into that habit. Yes. That is my joke for this evening. Back to you.
Thank you. I observed that Donna, in her evaluation of Nick's speech, picked up on many things that he did well. The use of very colorful language, the use of some very effective hand gestures. She had a recommendation for him. Dan, in his evaluation of table topic speakers, recounted the questions they were asked and the way they chose to answer them. He had a suggestion for each speaker, or for several of them, everyone. But he did attempt to make a suggestion. Those were good evaluations. They focused, in both cases, they focused on the delivery and the structure of the answers rather than merely repeating what we had heard. They used enough reference to what we heard to show that they had been listening carefully and were aware of how those pieces could have been deployed differently. So good job, evaluators. Evaluation, the purpose of it is to leave the evaluee, the one who's spoken, with some ideas about how he might be either more effective in getting his point across, or how he might differently approach his project. And both of these evaluations offered that opportunity to the people who were being evaluated.
Mhm.
I think it's time for meeting awards. We did have a qualifier in table topics. So I believe it would be now time for us to celebrate the qualifier in table topics. Jean, you know the name, and hopefully you have the ribbon.
Right, so you're handing it back to me now?
Yes, please.
Okay, very good. Thank you, Mr. General Evaluator. Tonight was a very auspicious night. Before we give the awards, we have two people doing things that they have never done before. Of course, the first one is Nick giving his icebreaker. Let's give a round of applause for Nick and his icebreaker. All right. And actually making an executive decision here, because he was talking about paths of dreams. I know he's dreaming of pathways. It's a little bit of a segue on Toastmasters. And so I think I'm just going to flash a best speaker because it's a dream. He was dreaming he'd be the best speaker tonight. So there we go. Yay, 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 Nick. Okay. I love executive decisions. And we also had Donna, who was giving her first speech evaluation of another member. Is that correct, Donna? You did do one for Rahul.
Rahul, yeah.
But it was a little different. It was kind of a, follow up to what Alex had done and everything. So anyway, this was sort of your first standalone evaluation, which is a big step. Take this a lot of responsibility. So yay, first evaluation, first speech evaluation. Very good.
And it would perhaps be useful to explain the point that Jean made about Nick not being yet evaluation qualified. There's a standard principle that you have to have given a certain number and gotten a certain distance into your path before you have enough experience to be assigned the role of evaluating someone else. So that's what she meant.
Right. We're trying to not scare you off immediately. But yeah, a little familiarity with the procedure and the language and all of that is what's good. All right. So speaking of evaluation, we had our best evaluator tonight was, and we know, is Donna.
Yay.
Yay, not only first time, but best one here. Okay, and best table topics. Do we need to have a drum roll here? Okay. Nick, I can't see yours. I can't see it. Oh, yeah, there we go. There we go. There we go. Okay. Okay. Thank you. Oh, thank you. That's so much better. Is Bob. Woo!
Yeah.
Okay. And that is our award section. So I'll turn it back at this point. I think we had a really good meeting. Appreciate Rahul. I wanted Rahul to be our kick off the new year because habits, we're all thinking about what are we going to do to make 2022 a little different, a little better. And if anyone's sincerely involved with personal development, I think it's Rahul. And so I just was thinking about him giving us some good questions. But he said he had a few questions, then he says 1 through 10. I thought, okay, wow, he's got some good he's got some good questions coming up. So we really appreciate that. Everyone pitching in. And we also are glad that Deanna was able to join with us. And with this point, I will go ahead and hand it off to our president to bring us down to the end of our meeting.
Deanna, I would like to hear from you what you enjoyed or noticed about the meeting. Could you take yourself off mute and just share with us what you found about the meeting?
Oh, first of all, thank you so much for letting me join the group. I was really amazed of all the work that you all are doing because like English is not my first language. I myself feel pretty shy about speaking in public. So I just want to say congratulations to all of you for doing such an amazing job, and it's really inspiring work. So thank you. And I was really glad to witness Nick's work. So thank you again.
Very good. You'd be welcome to join us anytime you wish.
Thank
We enjoy having guests.
Thank you so much.
Fellow Toastmasters, this would be the first meeting of 2022. Do we have, Jean, a speech scheduled for next week's meeting?
Yes, we have Donna.
Oh, good.
I have a spoiler. It's about learning a language, how to learn a language, conversational basic stuff within like quickly. And I just applaud anyone who tries to speak a language that isn't their first, because I always feel really uncomfortable trying to practice Spanish with people because I feel like I'm going to look silly because I'm not going to say everything right or not going to get the right. Sometimes I say things in the wrong order because I don't understand how to, the grammar and stuff. So it's tricky. Anywho.
Agreed. I don't sometimes understand how people learn English as a second language. English is so hard as a first language to do well with.
3, Rahul?
English is my third language, and I'm learning Spanish.
Well, not to intimidate anybody, but I just was reading a book last night, and this kid was 16 years old, and he knew 8 languages. And I was just like, how would a 16-year-old learn 8 languages? I don't know.
I don't know if any of you guys know Mark Cutter. He lives in Fairfield too. And I used to work for him, and he has a nephew who speaks 8 languages from 8 different families of languages in the world, which is like, incredible. And he was doing his PhD on something, and one of the things that he said was in his PhD dissertation or something that each language from a different language family triggers a different area of your brain. So learning languages is actually one of the most effective ways in order to use your brain to its most optimum.
Wow.
Just something that
Cool.
Yeah, I can believe that.
We do have an opening for speeches on the 18th. In case anyone is, and I know we've got, let's see what we're going to do there, but we do have an opening on the 18th.
Okay.
Keep me apprised.
I would request Jean, you to give a speech, because if 18th is the week we are having, the guest, you should speak.
Yeah, I'm kind of on hiatus, to be honest. I am on hiatus, and there are reasons, but I appreciate your confidence in me. And at some point, the hiatus will end.
I have the utmost confidence in every member of Golden Speaker who have been there for, so many long time to be a great speaker at any given point of time.
Yep, Toastmasters really does groom. Yeah.
I had a question about meetings and Jean, you've prepared like little workshops sometimes for meetings. Like one, you shared a video from that world-renowned woman, Fritz.
Yeah. Patricia Fripp, I think was her name.
Yeah, I was wondering if I could request or bring to nomination a meeting in which we talked about evaluation and best practices for evaluating, because it's such a big part of what we do. And I don't know, I just thought it would be really nice to look at videos together as a group and talk about them. And I could do it on my own, but I wouldn't get the benefit of the group.
It would be good for you to know, Donna, that there are basic, what Toastmasters called modules that focus on. One of them is evaluate to motivate. It goes into, in depth, the Toastmaster philosophy of evaluation and best practices for doing evaluations. And we present that. We used to present it more frequently than we have recently, but Jean has done it within the last year, I believe. Another one is called Moments of Truth, that is a module designed to help clubs understand what practices they need to have that will cause guests to enjoy the meeting and want to come again and become a member. There's a library of these modules, and your suggestion that we have such meetings is very timely.
And I'll also mention too, that Toastmasters, with all the emphasis on making speeches and doing projects and all, they don't really spend a lot of time on what Donna was talking about, which is how to actually evaluate effectively. So yes, there's that module, evaluate to motivate. There's also, Donna, if you're interested, I did a presentation that we recorded on, it was all about evaluating. and I had done it on a whiteboard, like a flip chart, because I took it to the prison club that I
I think I've
liaison.
seen that video. Did you
Did you see that?
play-
What?
Did you play it for us?
Yeah.
I have played it. I
That was
wondering
that
if-
evaluation?
Were you a member at that time when I played it?
I think so. I remember.
Well, you ought to look at it again. You ought to look at it again, because
We'll look back and find the link for you and send it to you.
just for something just to really, because I love evaluating. It's kind of like my favorite thing. And I feel like I distilled a lot, but anyway, it's good. So let's keep that request.
I made a request and you sent it to me, Jean.
You did at the time, didn't you?
Yeah, because I didn't know either. I was asking the same question as Donna, and you sent me the video. It was
Yeah.
very informative and very good.
We watched it, and then it's possible. I don't know. We could talk about it, whether we could just show that as opposed to, not that it's great or anything, but it is something I thought was useful. But
Yeah.
I know we're going way past our time, so I want to make
Yeah,
sure.
I'm going to call the meeting is adjourned right now.
Okay.
If anyone wants to stick around for conversation.
Okay.
I have family here that I have to get back to.
Yeah.